Okay. So it's really the first time that we do something like this. It's the sixth time that EURAXESS China has organized a science slam for China-based researchers, but it's really the first time that we tell ourselves to try to do it in an innovative way. Of course, we were first forced to do so by the conditions of mobilities, but I'm really very excited, and I think also a lot of people in our audience are excited to try this new way and get into the virtual reality world. I see coffees are being served. I'm very sorry for our online participants. We don't have digital coffees to offer you. And hello, hi, we see you.
So, do you hear me, Anna?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. So, I'm just going to start here. Let me go on the stage.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
From the
yeah, you see me.
Okay, so
can you hear me?
I'm just going to start my little charade. We have 5 of the judges with us here. I all that information. Well, you know what? You still should live. You can miss my amazing open experience. But that's your own fault, you know? For those that are not here right now. For the sort of the privilege of the people that are watching us online and so on, I want to start, and also out of respect for the science slammers that will need their time to finish. They are going to be working under very strict time limits in this event today. So, but we also need to be my name is Halter Berg, and I am the country representative of EURAXESS in China. Really quickly, EURAXESS is an initiative of the European Commission, the Director General of Research and Innovation, TTRDT. Our office has been in China since 2009, so 12 years already. I've been with the project for 7 years, and what we do is that we work with Chinese and European researchers trying to connect these two different research worlds, let's say. And we do that scientists here and the Chinese Europe. And it's well reflected in today's science slam, where we have 3 Chinese scientists here in China, and we have 3 European scientists also here in China. So you can really see it in the today's science slam, what like sort of how our membership is based. But what is a science slam? Like explain that really quickly. We've been doing the science slam since 2013. This is the 6th time since we started doing that. And the science slam is basically a short presentation that a scientist does to try to communicate their research to the sort of not expert audience in a fascinating and engaging way. So we're not necessarily here today to judge the scientific impact, although that is one of the things that we want. If it's really a trivial and not important at all, then it's not very good science communication. But we're also here to look at how you communicate and so on. And we do that in the belief that science communication is very, very important for the scientific community in particular, and also just science collaboration in general when it comes to the relations between the public and the scientific the world, also the relations between the scientific world and like the government as a whole that normally funds the science. And so science communication is very important. It's also normally has been our opportunity to try to sort of end our year with something that's a little bit more fun, because we do all of this really serious workshop all the time, and this is more fun and interesting. That's what we try to do. But the last 2 years have not been very fun. We've been stuck outside of our normal comfort zone because of COVID-19 and pandemic. So there's been no science now, because as everybody knows, all fun is illegal right now. And we are trying to change that. We're trying to get back. Now the science slam is back, so we all know that fun is back, I guess. I guess that's what we're trying to say. But this science slam, unfortunately, is not going to be like a normal science slam. This is the first time of all of our science slams since we started doing them in 2013, where we don't fly in the participants to come to Beijing and do the event on site. For those of you, I don't know if anybody in this room here has been to a science slam, our science slam before, but I know a lot of people online have. And for the people that have been in our science slams, you know, normally it's a pretty big event. We have like hundreds of people coming over and it's really active and fun and whatever. This time it's going to be a little bit weirder. We're going to have like a Zoom science slam. Like that's, I think that's very, very 2021 to do science slam on Zoom. And our participants that are coming from all over China, from Chengdu and Chongqing and Guangzhou and Shanghai, etc., and a couple of people from Beijing as well. These people are all going to be participating from their home, and they're going to be coming to us today to try to present their science over Zoom. We have a jury with us here today who are here in Beijing to look at what they're doing, and we also have a jury online who consists of people from sort of science slam past and also people that have like something to say about science communication in general. We invited to come here. We thought could be good judges and so on. But there's one thing that is different. The thing that is different right now is that we thought that we would try to break out of the Zoom a little bit by inviting you guys to sort of see how the future of communication can be if we were using virtual reality. And that's why there's virtual reality devices on all the tables here today. And that's why all the science slammers have a virtual reality device at their home right now. And that's also why some of our online judges are going to be in virtual reality. So if you guys are interested, you can put on your virtual reality glasses. They should all be ready. And you can see the slammers who are already in there. You can talk to them even and so on. And what's more, you can watch them when they will start their science slam by introducing themselves in your virtuality. So I was thinking, Anna, maybe you could like pop into virtuality really quickly. And we can see how it looks like. Oh, there I am. And where are you? Oh, there you are. So do you see me? Hello? Anna, do you hear me? Okay. She's not going to be very no, but this lady over there, she's very okay. Anyway, so this is how it looks like. You guys can see the virtuality here. Oh, and everybody in the room has already put the virtuality glasses on. Anyway, so I was thinking at this point I would maybe just throw the ball back to Anna, and who will start with the first three science slams, introducing them and so on, and we will also hear from them, hear the first round of introduction. Actually, before we start, I might want to introduce like who is in the room here with us today, but we don't have all of them yet, so I might do it later. But just really quickly, we have science diplomats here from the Norwegian embassy, and we have from the German Academic Exchange Center. We have a professor from EURAXESS. We have diplomats from the Latvian embassy and the France embassy. So these are the sort of audience that we're looking at right here. And maybe Anna will introduce a little bit what sort of people are with her online. Okay, Anna?
Yeah, of course, Alder. You know, this format of having people online and in VR really allows us to welcome members of the jury from all around the world, because we literally have members from China, from New York, Milan, Barcelona, you can name it. We have someone from everywhere, basically. So yes, since they're all connecting online, I'm going to just maybe ask them to just show their faces, wave to say hello to the audience, and maybe just very quickly say their name, where they are, and what they do. So we do it very quickly, and then we move on. So let me tell maybe like Jane Wu first. We have a couple of persons from Shanghai. Hi, Jane. Do you want to just say your name and where you're based at very quickly?
Sure. So very lovely to meet you all. And I noticed that some of the juries in the room in Beijing happens to be our old friends too. So I'm based in Shanghai, and the organization I work for is called Venture Cup China, which is bridging the Nordic relating innovation and technologies with the Chinese side. So lovely to meet you all.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Then we have a member that is connecting from London, Xiao Tong, who is also
Hi everybody, I'm Xiao Tong. I was a former Science Slam winner in 2016, and now I'm a final year PhD student at the Imperial College London. I'm in the UK now.
Thanks a lot for joining. I like your competence as a winner. I'm very appreciated for assessing who is going to be the best slammer in 2021. Then we have Marco Bonagna from Milano.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marco Bonagna. I'm a PhD candidate in Chongqing University. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here today. And I also cooperate with Galileo Galilei Italian Institute, which is an institute, the result of cooperation between Sant'Anna School of Advanced Studies and Chongqing University. And thank you again. And I'm looking forward to see you the presentations.
Then we move on the other side of the ocean to New York, where we have Vikas.
Hi, good morning. This is Vikas saying hello from New York City. I was in China doing my PhD, and during one of the year, I participated in the Science Slam competition. Also, it's so fun event, and you guys are my coffee. It's early morning, but it's keeping me so active this morning. So I'm really looking forward to this event, and thank you for inviting me.
Thanks a lot for joining in the middle of the night. I'm sure you must be very excited. Then back all the way back to China, we have Chong, also very well known in our Science Slam.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cheng Tong Chong. It's good to be here back to the Science Slam again. It is my honor to be here. Thanks for inviting me to be one of the judges here. And I really look forward to this year's presentation. All the best to all the candidates tonight.
Thanks a lot. And we have Odette that is not far away. She should be in Ningbo.
Hello, thanks for inviting me. I'm based at the University of Nottingham in Ningbo, where we are waiting for lockdown to happen. So this is my 6th time on the jury. So it's a really interesting experience to kind of see the virtual reality version of it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining. Then we have a last member of the jury. She's going to connect in 1 minute, I guess. Sarah Medina, she's connecting from Porto, where she is member of the board of the Portuguese Society of Innovation. So I'm very glad that we had this very quick presentation. And I say at this point, we can move to the VR. And so we can see our finalists and they can start introducing themselves. So let's switch. All our attendees will see us in VR. Okay, I'm sorry, we had a little technical problem. I need to restart a new VR session because we have been disconnected. This is not the best way to start.
suggest. So Anna, while we are waiting for this to be put up again, maybe we do the same thing that you did with the online jury and like introduce the juries here to the jurors. I'm going to do a little thing where I go here and I say how. Are you following me now? Yeah, the little robot here is great. Okay, so maybe we'll start with Magnus and we'll just really quickly say who we are, and then the people online also know who is judging them.
Sure, I can't wait to judge. I'm Magnus Joram, Science and Education Counselor at the Norwegian Embassy. Good luck, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lu Ping, coming from University of Chinese Academy of Sciences. Now I'm a full professor at School of Economics and Management. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Boris Kremio. I'm a project officer in the science department of the French Embassy. Good luck.
Hello, everybody. My name is Melanie Sperten. I'm from the German Academic Exchange Service. Thank you so much, Haldo and Anna, for inviting me. I cannot wait for the presentations. May the best person win. Good luck.
Yes, this is Andrea Heim from the German Embassy. I run the science section and I have fingers crossed for all the candidates. And I wish the best man wins or the best woman.
Hello, everyone. My name is Evita. I'm from Embassy of Latvia. And I cover science and education. And good luck, everyone.
Hi, I'm Vals, also from Embassy of Latvia. So it makes us a double score. Well, we will have each our own decision to make, but yeah, we will be happy to judge. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I come from China Association for Science and Technology. My name is Rita. Very glad to see you again.
Thank you so much, Weidan. There's a lot of excellent people here with us today. Anna, how is it going on your side? I'm pretty sure she's busy trying to create like a virtual reality world again. So let's just give it like a 5 minute. I'm gonna put on some Christmas music.
Hello, very pleased to be. Sí, te estamos viendo todos andar para arriba y para abajo de una forma extrañísima.
Oh, so here we are. I see Alvaro's on the stage already. Hi, Alvaro. So we had this technical issue, and this session got stuck. So I see everybody is joining again. Our audience is normally seeing us and also listening to us. Hi. Hello. So Alvaro, they are seeing us, so I say we can start. I'll move. from the stage, and I leave that to you.
Yeah, you can hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Hello?
hear. I can hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Alvaro, we cannot hear you.
Okay. 5 seconds. Can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, as we fix this, can I invite someone else to join? Tom was supposed to be the third, right?
Yes. So I'm back in, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. So would you like to go first, as we had this technical issue and everybody is reconnected? Maybe you could go on the stage and we start. Everybody online is following, and everybody in Beijing should be following as well through the Zoom, through the red lady over there.
All right, sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Tom. So just a quick story about myself. So in my first year at university in Germany, one day I went to the international office and I said, hey, next year I want to go abroad. And the lady there said, I'm sorry, I'm afraid that won't be possible because we don't have any exchange programs for second-year students. And I said, I want to do it anyways. So I went home, I got a list of all the universities in the UK, and I found one that accepted me without a formal program, and that's Edinburgh. So next year I went there. And I was having a really good time. So one day I went to the international office of Edinburgh University and said, hey, I want to stay here. And the lady there said, I'm afraid that won't be possible because we don't accept exchange students for more than a year. And I said, well, I want to do it anyways. So I went home, I got my list of all the universities, and I found one that accepted me, and that's Southampton. And so next year I finished my degree in Southampton, and I thought, hey, this system seems to work really well. So I just pulled up a list of all the universities in Europe and picked one in Belgium. And so I signed up for a master's to study string theory in French in Belgium. Now, my French is not very good, and neither is my understanding of string theory. So one day my teacher said, I'm afraid it won't be possible to let me pass you. So I did what I always did, and I pulled up a list of universities in Europe, and I picked another one. Next year, I went to Spain and studied geophysics. Now, geophysics is the study of the physics of rocks, and it turned out that Spanish is easier than French, and rocks are easier than string theory. So I still study rocks. I did my PhD in London. Now I'm here in Beijing studying rocks. But I learned one thing from the story, and that is, if someone tells you, I think that won't be possible, you shouldn't always listen to them. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Thanks for this introduction. We for sure know very well who you are, as we also see a nice avatar of you. Great to know, to get to know someone who is so far away. Yes. I hear you. It's a bit shaky, but I hear you.
Can you allow me to get the eye effect so I can show them the slides?
Yes, of course. Of course, I'll do that. And I see
Yeah,
some of there's. Halder, you are very shaky. Anyway, I'll take care of the logistics, and maybe one of our slammers would like to come on the stage, so we can continue very quickly. So we're back to Zoom for a moment. I see the last member of the online jury also connected. Hi, Sarah. Maybe I take the opportunity to also leave you 1 minute, like just for a very quick introduction.
Hello, Anna. Hello, Elder. Many thanks for the very kind invitation to be with you directly from Puttaya, from Portugal. I'm a member of the board of SPI, and I have been working with China already for more than 20 years. And myself, I go to China usually 3 times a year. Last time I was there was in 2019, and I hope to be able to go to China again very soon and to be able to meet all of you. And we are also coordinating the Enrich in China initiative, helping to link different types of European organizations, business, research, and innovation with the different Chinese counterparts. So very pleased to be here. Many thanks again.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Thanks for your introduction. And so we're having some technical issues. Our session on VR got closed, but everybody is getting back inside. So I'll move again the focus on VR. So also everybody who is online and everybody in Beijing will be able to follow the presentation of the first slammers. They are doing a short self-introduction as first thing. So let me share the screen here and we go back in VR. Let's see if everything works as it should now. Oh, here we are. I see some members of the jury. They're sitting around. Tom, you already concluded your presentation. Sorry, we didn't use your PowerPoint. And I see some ladies on the stairs, but I cannot see your names. Is there anyone who wants to go as next for his or her presentation? And we also wait for Halder to get back in. Are you all members of the jury? Let me walk a little bit around. I see Slammer 5, Slam jury. Would you like to walk here in front of the red lady? If you walk in front of the red lady, then everybody online will be able to also see you. Joao is there sitting. I see him.
Yeah. Let me stand up.
Yeah, hi. You know, like our audience eyes are those of the red lady. So everything that is happening in front of the red lady in the VR is seen also on Zoom in Beijing and online.
Okay, I'm going to try.
Hey, Alvaro, you're back and I hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you again.
Oh, finally. Finally. Okay. Okay, so are the juries online? Should I go ahead or do I wait or what do we do?
I see some members of the jury are here. I just don't see Halder. But the members of the jury maybe can wave their hand to say if everything is okay and we can go ahead also for Beijing. Yes, cool. So let's go ahead. Everybody connected on Zoom can see you and hear you. And in Beijing, it looks they also do. So we just don't have Halder and therefore we don't have PPT in case you wanted to.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. So should I go ahead? You give me the go ahead?
Please, welcome Alvaro. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me here. It's like a funny... sorry, I'm having like some things from Haldor. Sorry, like I'm just getting this. Haldor? Haldor? Okay. Sorry, I apologize, like there was like somebody yelling on my ear, so I'm going to begin again. Sorry about that. So hello a lot, thanks a lot for being here with me today. Well, here, and well, I'm Alvaro, or at least the person who's controlling this is Alvaro. I come from Spain, but currently I'm in Guangzhou in the Bioland Institute, and we are working in nuclear architecture, which has nothing at all to do with architecture. So let me explain a little bit. I'm a biologist. So what we do in biology is study the processes that alter and form and all the process of life. But most of these processes happen at a really small scale. So we need to use tools to be able to study these processes. Some of you, maybe most of you, know what a microscope is, and some of you may have even used it. But what you may not know is that no matter how big your microscope is, no matter how precise and expensive your lenses are, there's a hard limit of resolution of how small the things you want to see are. And this limit comes from the wavelength, the size of the light that is there, which is not completely true. Since a couple of years ago, there have been new techniques that have appeared, which are called super resolution microscopy. And these techniques are able to pierce the veil of resolution, and we are able to see things way smaller. Now, if there was a PowerPoint here, you have to imagine like a super nice thing in which I will have like the nucleus in super resolution. But basically, what we are able to see is how the DNA is inside of the nucleus. The DNA is this molecule that makes you. You may be taller or smaller or better swimmer or better runner, or regretfully maybe have a little bit of problems when you are an adult. And this comes from the DNA. And the way it is a stroke effect, definitely how this is. So that's basically this process. This study is what we call nuclear architecture, which once again has nothing to do with architecture, which is what we do and what we have been doing in our lab here for the past 2 years. Thanks a lot. And afterwards, I want to show you one of the most portable and cheap microscopes that we have done in our lab, which I'm sure you will find amazing. Thanks a lot, and see you now.
Thanks a lot, Alvaro. Thanks. It was a nice presentation. Thanks for the patience also of like taking care of all the technical issues. Being in VR can be a lot of fun, but as you can see, there's a lot of different things to coordinate. So yes. Shall we continue? Do we have Slammer too? Xiao Tong, right? Oh, she's not here. Okay, so let's move back to the Zoom so we see everybody in Beijing and we can continue from there.
So Anna, do you hear me? I'm here in Beijing talking.
We hear you.
You don't unmute yourself? Do you hear me?
We hear you, we see you, we see you. Have
not, oh. Can you see?
We see you.
Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, there we go. So let's just go with the first 3 Zoom presentation. We have the first 3 presentation from like with the first 3 slammers on Zoom with us, right?
Yeah, we have them.
Okay, so let's start in the same order that we were going to do. We just met Alvaro. He's also the first one in the original order. So let's just go with his 10-minute presentation. And then we'll move to Xiaomeng after that. And we'll try to make it quick. And then Thomas, the third one.
Let's do that. So we go into the core of the competition with the proper slam presentation. So Alvaro just left the VR world and he should be connected here. So Alvaro, I see you're connected and hopefully you can start your presentation.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you and we can see you.
Perfect. Well, so I'm going to begin then. Okay? Perfect.
Please,
so
go ahead.
Thanks a lot for coming here today. Thanks a lot for holding with all these technical problems. Now we're going to go from like the highest of the high tech to a little bit of something a little bit more simple. As I mentioned before, just some minutes ago, I'm a biologist, but I think by the end of this, you may be thinking, given the amount of clay I'm going to use, that maybe I'm a kindergarten teacher. Anyway, as I was mentioning, biologists, we aim to study the processes of life. And most, if not all, of these processes happen at a really, really, really small scale. In fact, most of this happens inside the cells. In your body, you have millions of cells of thousands of different cell types. You may have cells of your skin, cells of your brain, and this little fella over here that looks like a fried egg, this is what we call a stem cell, which is capable of becoming any of these kinds of thousands of cells. They have different shapes, they have different functions, they have different behaviors, but all of them have one thing in common, aside from my bad ability of drawing these things, which is that all of them have this red thing, which is what we call a nucleus. Now, inside of this nucleus is the DNA, is your genetic code, is all the information, the most important manual of instructions that you're going to have in your life, which makes you, you. Now, most of you may have been used to see these manuals of instructions as something like this. G's, T's, C's, A's, and things that go for pages and pages and pages. And this is the way we choose to represent it, because it's true, it's a lot of information, but it may be obvious for you that you don't have tiny little sheets of G, T, C, and other letters inside of your nucleus that tell you how you have to be you. What you have is the molecule of DNA. Now, the molecule of DNA is one of the most complex biomolecules that exist, able of amazing things and very, very, very complex. But for today, we have to think of it as a thread. I hope you can see this through Zoom, but I'm now holding one thread of around 2 meters. Now, inside of every one of the millions of cells that are inside your body, you have 2 meters of DNA, not in total, inside of every one of the single cells. You have this, and you have to imagine that you have to pack this in a really, 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 really small space. So now, we have a saying in Spain that says that something can be more untidy than a tailor's cupboard, which if you have ever lost your headphones or put like some cables in a cupboard, you will notice how things begin to tangle and mix, and then it's impossible. You wouldn't want this to happen to your DNA, right? The cell needs to have a way of organizing this. So how do we do it? In big life, I'm not going to say real life because the cells is also real life, we use what we call bobbins. This, we can coil the thread around it. And it's really practical and it's really convenient. But you have to think that if this was the case, we would have access to this information here. But we wouldn't have a way of having access to the information inside. Does that mean that the cell doesn't use bobbins, that the cell doesn't use this? Not exactly. Come down with me a little bit. This is, well, this is a ball of clay, obviously, but this represents an histone. This is one of the millions of molecules that you have inside of every nucleus in your body, which helps it organize the DNA. But this small histone doesn't work alone. It works in 8. This is what we call an histone octamer. 8 pieces of 4 different histones. And if you remember the bobbin from before, you can begin to see how things are a little bit similar. So now, inside of the cell, we have DNA, which is wrapped approximately twice around the histone core. This is called the nucleosome. And this is the basic unit that forms the structure inside of the nucleus. Now, this has already been known for quite some time, but what we still don't know and what we are doing in our research is understanding how the histones are going to be distributed in the physical space between them and how this is going to affect the function. But this is really, 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 really small. So as I mentioned before, we need to use super resolution microscopy because otherwise we won't be able to see. So now I'm going to show you the first ever full cardboard microscope, super resolution microscope. So what we are going to do is we're going to attach things that blink to what we want, the structure we want to see. And we're going to take a really long movie. We're going to stop for a moment one of the frames of this movie, and every frame of the movie will have these blinks, and in this frame we'll have this, and this. These are single molecules, and we can find their localization with the highest precision today with optical microscopy. We can pinpoint exactly where these DNA and histone molecules are. So now let's imagine for a moment that we repeat this process over time, over thousands of frames, over millions of molecules, and at the end, we'll have the structure that we want. Now, the obvious thing that you're asking is, what does happen with the histones then? Well, now, first of all, we have to minimize things a little bit, simplify. So we are going to go from this to this. I want to imagine this as the Octamer histone that I showed you before, with the DNA wrapped approximately twice around it. So this is more or less the structure that we knew. And when we apply this microscopy, I just showed you before, we have finally been able to reveal what is the structure of the chromatin. Now, this is a representation of one of the latest information known about how the chromatin is structured. And one of the most surprising things is that it's not a regular structure. It's not all organized in the same way. You have regions, small regions, in which like the DNA is compacted together with the histones, forming what we call histone clusters, compacted clusters. These places is where the information that we don't want the cell to read is stored. And there's other more open regions, which are easy to access, easy to read, easy to interpret these instructions. The amazing thing, actually the amazing thing is that it's not like things can be open and closed. There's like intermediate states. It can be closed, but like in a smaller cluster or an even big cluster than this. And the most second amazing thing is that this is not always to be like this. Like this cluster can become an open or can close depending on the cell type, depending on what is the function of the cell. This can become like this, or this can become like this, and vice versa. So you may be asking, why is this important? Why do we need to know that? Understanding the way the nucleus is structured, finding which are the players that do that, and achieving and resolving which is the mechanism that alter this and that produce this structure, allow us to understand processes as important and as different as cell differentiation from embryos to adults, such as cell death, but also pathological processes such as cancer, in which this structure becomes absolutely changed. This is one of the most fascinating for me questions of biology, and the one we strive to answer. Now, Aldous Huxley, one British writer, once said, words are the threads that we coil around our experiences. Well, what we say is that DNA is the thread that we coil around our being. Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot, Alvaro. I see people are clapping their hands to you. So,
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. I will change now to the computer, and thanks for having me here. I hope that you could hear me properly during all the thing.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. This part was perfect. So, I think, the presentation of your research was well received by everybody following in Beijing, online, and even in VR, it was okay at the end of the day. Perfect. So just, a technical message. A technical message. Everybody that is connected on Zoom will also be allowed to vote. So we have the jury in Beijing and the jury online. They will assess the slammers on different categories. How accessible the slam is to a non-expert audience, how fun it is, how well-timed it is. But we also give the opportunity to the audience that is following us live to vote for the slammers. So we're going to do this through a poll that I'm about to start. I'm going to launch a poll every time a slammer finish with the slam presentation, the 10 minutes presentation. And you guys connected online will be able to, to give one vote that is from 0 to 5, according to how you think how original Alvaro was, how clear he was, if you're not an expert, what's the scientific value of the research, what explained. So I'm gonna start the poll, and in the meantime, I'm going to ask Tom, who you met in virtual reality, to please prepare, because it's going to be the second one to go for his slam presentation.
So I'm ready.
I'm not going to share the results, of course. They are going to be private. And I see Tom is ready. So I leave it to you, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, so hi there, I'm Tom, and I like, sorry, just give me one more moment.
Yes, of course. Yeah, get ready. Oh, he has a wonderful, very professional picture to share. Why he set up, also quite a technical software he's using. I think it's also going to be a very original approach for a digital science slam. So the Beijing jury, I think they are with their papers giving votes to Alvaro at the moment, and our online jury also has some Excel sheets they are going to use to assess how Alvaro performed. So at the end, we're going to collect and sum up all the scores, and we'll see who is going to be the winner. And if there's like even scores among two, I hope not more than two candidates, then we will have the jury to deliberate. They are going to have the responsibility of discussing among themselves and finalize who is going to be the 2021 winner. And of course, I didn't mention it, but we will sum up the scores coming from the Beijing jury, from the online jury, and of course from the online participants on Zoom. So it's going to be a mix of a summary of all the scores collected by the slammers. And I'm going to be very curious to know who is going to be the winner. It's going to be interesting also to hear from Tong and from the Xiaomeng, who are the previous winners. So they have personal experience in competing in such an event. So for sure we have a very competent and wide jury. Tom, are you almost ready?
Sorry for the technical problems. I think it should be working now. Just give me one more second.
Yeah, sure. And so after Tom, we're going to have our third slammer, who is going to be a Chinese, China-based researcher, Meng Xiaotong. And then we are going to continue with the second round, and hopefully it's going to be smoother also in virtual reality. We see you, Tom.
All right then. So yeah, now you can see, right? So hi, I'm Tom. I like dinosaurs, sheep, and gambling. So for the dinosaurs, actually, I'm a little bit worried because, see, in those days, it used to be quite hot. So I'm wondering, didn't they get a bad sunburn? Now you might say, so what? They are big animals. Maybe they got a painful back, but their predecessors used to be tiny unicellular organisms, and the sun emits high energy particles that can cause cancer and kill such tiny organisms. So they needed a way to protect themselves from the sun. Now, obviously, they didn't have parasols in those days. So they needed a different way. And it turns out magnetic fields can also block solar radiation. Conveniently, the Earth happens to have a magnetic field. Or does it? See, we don't actually know if the Earth had a magnetic field at the time when life formed. To find out, scientists went out to search for rocks that are from that time, but they didn't find any. See, there are not so many rocks left from that time, but they did find some tiny pieces of rocks inside rocks that are as old as 4 billion years. And inside those tiny pieces of rock, inside larger pieces of rocks, they found even tinier pieces of iron. And iron is magnetic. And therefore, this type of mineral is appropriately called magnetite. Now, magnetite has two properties. First, it's kind of like a bar magnet that has a north pole and a south pole, or the other way around. And second, magnetite is kind of like sheep. You know, I like sheep. Sure, they stink a bit, but apart from that, they are very nice and peaceful animals. And you often see them in valleys peacefully chewing on some grass. If there are multiple valleys, every sheep is just stay in whatever valley they happen to be. If you ever happen to find a sheep on top of a valley, on top of a hill, chances are it would just look down left and look down right, and then walk down one way or the other. Now, a physicist would call this type of landscape an energy landscape with an energy barrier, and would say that this is the reason why magnetic particles stay magnetized in whatever way they happen to be magnetized. Now, valleys can be either at the same elevation or at different elevations. But to sheep, this doesn't matter. Sheep don't climb. If they did, they would be called furry goats. For magnetic particles, if there is a magnetic field present, then one valley will be higher than the other. If there is no magnetic field, both would be the same. Now, we all know from experience that on a warm summer day, sheep will happily jump around. Of course, the grass is always a little bit greener on the other side. So if a sheep happens to jump high enough, it might just about make it across the hill. A physicist would say it overcame an energy barrier because of thermal activations, which simply means that a sheep jumped over the hill, or that a magnetic particle changed its magnetization. Now, the probability that the sheep from the higher valley jumps across the hill is a little bit higher than the probability that the sheep jumps from the lower valley across the hill. And physicists have equations to calculate that. Of course, sheep are very social animals, so typically you'll find whole flocks of sheep in any valley, and all of them will happily jump around. So at any point in time, some sheep will be jumping from that valley into this, and some will be jumping from this valley into that. So the numbers of sheep in either valley might change until they reach a point where the numbers of sheep jumping that way is equal to the number of sheep jumping that way. A physicist would call this a thermodynamic equilibrium, which simply means that the numbers don't change anymore. Now, when the sun sets, then the sheep will go to bed and stop jumping. Now, this is actually what happens in rocks when they form. First, they are very hot, so magnetic particles can easily change their magnetization. But eventually they cool down, so the rocks stop changing their magnetization. Now, of course, if the values are at the same height, then the numbers of sheep should be the same. But if they are at different heights, the numbers of sheep should be different. In the same way, if there was a magnetic field when the rock formed, then the number of magnetic particles magnetized in that direction should be slightly larger than the number of particles magnetized in the other direction. If there was no magnetic field, the numbers should be the same. So the scientists that collected those 4 billion-year-old tiny rocks inside larger rocks say that there are more tiny pieces of iron magnetized in one way than the other, and therefore they conclude that the Earth already had a magnetic field when life formed, giving those first tiny unicellular organisms a safe place to live and evolve into dinosaurs. But there is still one more problem. See, the sheep are actually jumping randomly. So even if the values were at the same height, or if there was no magnetic field, we cannot be sure that the numbers would be exactly the same. It's kind of like gambling. Imagine a gambler. He thinks red is his lucky color, so he goes to the casino and sits down at the roulette table. He takes his money and bets on red, the wheel spins, and it's black. So the gambler says, well, that's bad luck, I'll just play again. He bets on red, the wheel spins, damn, it's black again. He bets again on red, the wheel spins. Oh my God, this is not his day, it's black again. He thinks, I'm gonna try one last time. He bets on red, the wheel spins, and it's black again. So now the gambler thinks, this is not his lucky day, red just doesn't come anymore. So he gets up and leaves the table. But when he looks back, he sees the ball fall into a red pocket. Now, as a scientist, I've kind of like gambling, but only if I can win. Now, of course, if you only play once, you either win or lose. If you play twice, you don't necessarily win once and lose once. You might just as well win twice or lose twice. If you play 3 times, it's possible that you lose 3 times in a row, but it's more likely that you win at least once. And if you play 4 times, if you lose 4 times in a row, it doesn't mean that red just doesn't happen. In fact, if you went to the casino every day for a whole month, on average, you would lose 4 times in a row twice. Luckily, you would also win 4 times in a row twice. Now, what if you played 100 times? Well, if you won 100 times, you definitely find some big guys waiting for you at the exit. Actually, even if you won only 90 out of 100 times, you'd meet those guys as well. And that is because on average, you would have to play 1 billion times to get this lucky to win 90 out of 100 times. Now back to the sheep. So in my research, I calculated how many sheep you have to count, or actually how many magnetic particles you have to measure in order to be sure that there really was or wasn't a magnetic field. And that number is about 10 million. Now those 4 billion-year-old tiny rocks inside larger rocks, how many particles did they contain? And the answer is about 10 million. So see, these samples actually belong to the smallest samples that we can still use to learn something about the past magnetic field of the Earth. And therefore, we can be confident that the Earth already had a magnetic field when life formed, giving those tiny unicellular organisms a safe place to live and evolve into dinosaurs. And I would hope, I would love to finish the story on they happily lived ever after, but they didn't. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. You managed to tell us a very nice story today. I think, well, I appreciated it. And I'm going to start the poll so we also see if the rest of the audience liked it. Launching the poll right now. And I say we go on. So our third slammer is Xiaoman Wang. And I'm going to ask her to get ready, turn the video on, turn the audio on.
Oh, can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Look, Xiaomang, since we couldn't see you in VR because of our technical issue,
okay.
To you to decide if you want to add, a couple of minutes before your SLAM presentation for a self-introduction. Welcome to do so. Otherwise, I think we're going to try to go back to VR later. So if you prefer, you can also just do your SLAM as planned, and maybe we go back into VR, and you can also, show up there as well.
It is okay. I can do that in the Zoom.
Okay, great. Then please, the stage is yours.
Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Xiaomeng Wang. I'm very pleased and honored to participate in this Science SLAM. When I first participated in the Science SLAM training course at the beginning of the year, I was a researcher in Czech Republic. But right now, I'm an associate professor in Southwest Jiaotong University in Chengdu. Chengdu is a very beautiful city. It's famous for its delicious food, and is also the hometown for the Jane pandas. I hope that one day you can come to Chengdu and, as my guest, taste the delicious foods and visit the research base of Jane pandas. There are a lot of Jane pandas, and you can even touch them and play with them. I'm sure you will have fun. I'm also pleased to take this opportunity to introduce my recent research on green fiber reinforced composite. Once upon a time, all materials were naturally sourced. But with the development of industry, we use more and more man-made things around us. It's convenient, but meanwhile, it causes a lot of pollution, and the gear is getting worse. Do you know that China has the most lung cancer patients in the world? Many people died of lung cancer, even though they have never spoke one single word. So air pollution is a serious matter that we cannot deny. That's why I choose a direction that making green fiber composite to replace the man-made composite. I like working with it because it's environment friendly and economic. I hope you will enjoy my presentation below. And thank you.
Thank you, Xiaomeng. Thank you. Okay, we are at the end.
Okay, I can share my screen because I made a point. I think I can show you. Wait a minute.
Okay, so we're getting for the end of the first round of slammers. I can see a black page of your PPT. It's not in full size.
Yes, I will show you it. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. So my topic today about the renaissance of flax fiber. Now you can see in the left picture, flax is a plant with beautiful blue flowers. When it harvests, it will become a golden fabric. Now that the flax has lost a lot of traditional market because of man-made fibers, so they are gearing up to conquer new market, that is composite industry. Flax actually is a very promising natural fiber. It has a similar stiffness to glass fiber, but only half of its density. So if you want to make something that's stiff and light, it's a good choice. And then I will introduce you what a composite material is. In engineering, if you want something strong still, and if you want something light, we can use composite material. The composite material consists of a reinforcing fiber such as carbon fiber and glass fiber. It will provide the majority of the strength and stiffness. Then we will add a matrix to hold the fibers together like a glue. After hardening, then we can get a plate of composite. Flax can be a replacement of the carbon fiber and glass fiber. In 2019, Porsche Electric TV series chose flax composite to make the entire body. The advantages of flax composites is obvious. It has high damping, better sound absorption, low price, energy saving, environment friendly, and it's recyclable. And another advantage is the collision behavior. Carbon fiber composites will break into many small sharp fragments, will do harm to human bodies. But the flax composite will become a soft fabric, so it's much safer. Then I will show you a short video from Porsche of these fancy cars made of flax.
We are here at Daytona Speedway and we are doing here the world premiere from the new 718 GT4 Club Sports. Porsche fans will love this car because we kept the focus on a club sport car with low cost of ownerships and a very good performance. So we have two different options. It's the track day version and the competition version. We increased the horsepower. We have 425 horsepower in the car. We have improved the downforce of nearly 70% in comparison of the 981. We show in the car new material, a new innovation. It's a natural fiber material which goes away from the CFK. It's in the nature and it's renewable.
It's more sustainable than carbon fiber. For the production of the raw material, we need 75% less energy than for producing the carbon fiber. We are looking in the future and trying to do something for the environment, even in motorsport.
The focus for us was to bring innovations like the new material in the car so that motorsport is possible in the future as well.
I don't hear you anymore, Xiaomeng. Can the rest of the audience hear you? I cannot hear you. No, nobody can hear you now. After the end of your video, it's super, super low. We cannot really understand.
Is that okay?
I hear you very, very low. Okay, okay, no, now it works. Please talk. Can you talk, please?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If you talk like this, we hear you well again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's continue. Okay, what we just know is about the cars, fancy sports cars made of flax. And you can also have a new opportunity to see it in civil engineering structures. In 2016, the world's first flax fiber composite bridge was made in Netherlands. And 4 years later, a 66mm movable bicycle bridge was made by flax. As you can see, because the height of the bridge is limited, therefore, if a ship wants to go through the river, we will rotate the bridge and let it go. Because the weight of the bridge is small, therefore it's easy to rotate. And then I will tell you the latest news. The European Space Agency is working on several projects on flax fiber composites. When the rocket is launching into the space, it will shake violently. Therefore, materials that restrict vibration are very beneficial at launch. In the near future, we are able to see flax parts on the rocket and satellite. So we can see flax has great potential in many fields. For a scientist, the most important thing is that how to make the flax stronger and more durable. Here I choose 3 kinds of treatment: ugly treatment, silent treatment, and nano coating. In silent treatment, we will soak the fibers into an alkaline solution. As you can see in this picture, the impurities such as wax and oil are moved away, and the surface of the fiber is much cleaner, and it will bond to the matrix better. And the second way we choose is silent treatment. Silent works like a bridge between the epoxy and the fiber. It will replace the hydrogen bonds by the covalent bond. This kind of bonds is much more stronger, and it's also waterproof. Therefore, the mechanical property of flax composite is improved. And the third way is nano coating. First, we will clean the fiber and make some pre-treatment. After that, we will see it on its surface. And then we will put the fiber into our solution and grow the nanorods under high pressure and high temperature. In this technology, seeding is the most important procedure. If we grow zinc oxide nanorods without seeding, you can see it's really disordered and that's not what we want. But if we seed well, we can let the nanorods grow very well. The nanorods connects the fiber tightly with matrix, like a ribbon, turning it into a stronger material. So my conclusion is there is no best for any materials, only better. In order to improve the performance and make new functions of material, composite is an important trend in the future. I believe that through our efforts, small green materials will use in engineering and make our planet a better world. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Xiaomeng. Please stop sharing your screen, and I hope that the second part of your presentation was heard by everybody. It was very clear for me. There were some notifications going on in the background, but it was clear to me. But someone else told me they heard your voice very low. So I hope that was not the case for the majority of us. And yes. So I ask you to please stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to launch the poll about Xiaomeng's presentation. As you realized, we skipped the VR introduction for Xiaomeng because of our technical issues. She did both her short introduction and slam presentation online. So our audience that is connected on Zoom is welcome to join the poll. It's going on now. And now we give a second try to VR. I hope it's going to be easier and it's going to be fun. So we're going to have the second round of presentations in VR and the second round of slam presentation on Zoom as well. I'm going to switch now to VR view, and then we're going to start with our fourth slammer, that is going to be Xuan. So let me do that.
Hello, Anna.
Hello, Anna. Hello, Xuan.
Nice to meet you. Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
nice to meet you. Nice to see you in VR. And
So,
is it
hi,
me
everyone.
or is it you? We have a very bad feedback.
Yeah, we have an echo, but I think
Right.
yeah.
Now
It's
it
better
should
now.
be okay.
Great.
So,
how,
welcome, Xuan. Everybody in
thank you very
Beijing can
much.
see us on the stage. Everybody connected online, the jury and the audience can see us on the stage. So I'm going to leave it to you. You have a maximum of 3 minutes for a short introduction about yourself. We will then continue with the other slammers in VR, and then we will move back to Zoom for the 10 minutes slam presentation. Is it
Sure.
okay?
Yeah, perfect. So, hello, everyone. I'm Xuan. So I was born in China, but basically I grew up in Italy. So Anna, that's why we have some close relationship there. And I spent 20 years in Europe. So pretty much makes me a Sino-European person. Then I decided to go back to China, and I spent a fairly long amount of time in finance, in venture capital and private equity. And then I realized that there were many things that could be improved, but at the same time, I needed more academic training. Therefore, I got into a PhD program that allows me to strengthen and also to develop a research into the area of innovation and application of innovation. So I'm looking forward to do my presentation in the Zoom, and happy to reach me for any further questions. Thank you very much. It's okay, Anna?
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it was fantastic. I think it went on very smoothly, and I'm very glad, since the beginning of our event today was a little bit problematic.
Great.
So
I will
thanks
leave
a
it to
lot.
my colleague. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll let you go, and I welcome Li Tong on the stage.
Hello, members of the Adjudicators Bench and everyone watching at home. I'm Li Tong. I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself, as well as thank the EURAXESS for inviting me to talk. My name is Li Tong, a physics researcher at the Institute of Physics, Chinese Academy of Sciences, from where I obtained my PhD degree in condensed matter physics, and I also spent a year as an exchange student at Oxford University in the inorganic chemistry department. I'm very, very happy today to have the opportunity to participate at this slam. And my research focuses on simulations and calculations to explore novel materials that electronic devices are made of, for example, silicon, nickel, and so on. And fully understanding the structure of all the materials helps people to make electronic devices more multifunctional. And the goal of my research is to make predictions of new materials that haven't existed in the world before. This means companies and factories could investigate further and make their predictions a reality. And I really hope this could speed up the production of new materials which would benefit our society someday. Thank you so much for listening. See you later in my presentation.
Okay, thanks, Letong. There's a strong feedback, and I see you left. We have a dead avatar in the middle of the stage. But I think that she was able to conclude her introduction. I'm going to ask all of us who are connected in VR to please check that if you have your Zoom open, you turn off the speaker and the microphone, because we really have a strong feedback at the moment. Okay, now it already feels better, hopefully. And I see Joao prepared himself on the other part of the stage. What is very fun and convenient is that in VR we can teleport ourselves. We can use this button and move right away on the other side of the stage. So that's very convenient. Hi, Joao, welcome. Are you ready to start?
Everyone, yeah, I'm ready. So, to the thousands watching live and the millions watching at home, today I have a controversial question to ask you. How can we achieve the climate transition, the energy transition, at a low cost, an inefficient way? But before, I will talk a little bit about myself. So I'm from Portugal. I'm an R&D engineer at one of the branches of China Three Gorges Corporation, the largest renewable power plant developer in the world. And before being in China Three Gorges, I studied Shanghai Jiaotong University Power Engineering and Electrical Engineering in the Faculty of Sciences of the University of Lisbon. But why did I decide to choose this topic? Why did I decide to work on this field and research on the energy transition, such an appealing topic? I was born in a small community in Portugal. We only had around 40 people, very small community. And an image that stayed in my mind when I was very small was that they installed some of the first renewable power plants, the wind power plants in Portugal. It was in my hometown. And I had a very deep image of people coming across the country, relatives that I never saw again in my life, just came to see that event. And it got me a very strong image that climate transition or scientific development doesn't have to be a cold thing, doesn't have to be a cold approach. We can bring communities together by scientific knowledge, by scientific development, like when they decided to install the renewable power plants in my hometown. So that is why I decided to study that field. And today I plan to present this complex answer to this controversial question: how can we achieve the climate transition? And it is a pleasure to be here with you all, and get ready for my 10 minutes answer to this complex question. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Joao. Thanks for everybody who joined this VR presentation. We're about to move back to Zoom, so we continue with the SLAM presentations, the 10 minutes proper presentation that are characteristic of the Science Slam. And thanks, Joao, for sharing the numbers of attendees. We really have millions following us, especially on the stream. On the online streaming. Okay, let's switch back. I'll see you all on Zoom. And we're back in the digital reality, but not in the virtual reality anymore. I hope in Beijing you also followed us. I saw that there were some jury members that had their avatar in the room. And Alder, let's quickly move on because time is running. So I see that Xuan is already there. So I leave you the floor to continue with your SLAM presentation. We see your PowerPoint not in full slide mode, and I don't hear you. I haven't heard you yet. Now it's in. You switched back. It's not in presentation mode. And I'm asking you to unmute because we cannot hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. So you have the slide. Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Xuan. As briefly introduced in the VR environment, so I spent many years in the world of finance, particularly in venture capital and private equity, where I dealt with many new ideas, right? That were looking for money to be funded and hope to change the world. And during so many years, I realized that many of them failed. And many of them failed not because of the quality of the idea or the lack of perseverance in their idea or even resources. Something else was there. And this is something that from the real world, the professional world, from practice, is something that I perceived. And therefore, I made this a area of research where I wanted to discover more and try to contribute to the world of business and beyond. Just to start with some of the how people see venture capital is that I see that among the judges, we have someone from the world. So this will be for you, I just revisit, but interesting for the others, that people will see venture capital people that provide money, right? Like at ATM, that you go there with your idea, that normally a very rough idea, and that you need to perfect. You need to make it more suitable for the market or the dressing. Sometimes people see venture capital, and not just in China, as a way to increase for other reasons. For example, to increase their prestige, right? To say, I have received funding from this fund, it's very renowned, and it's make me popular, or it's a kind of stamp to the recognition of what they have proposed. And then it's very fun job because you get to see very sometimes very unusual ideas that they would like to bring ahead and change the world with a different view. And sometimes this is something that eventually find its niche of application. And most of the time, and here we have many researchers, we have a dream, right, to invent, to patent the next invention and to make a lot of money, right? So it's not just money, but of course money counts. But in reality, what I saw is that we might end up spending lots of resources on something that would not find market or ended up being impractical. And this is in the whole world of ideas that then can be made into new inventions or discovery from a lab. In the whole this world, because it was so large, I decided to concentrate on something that I was very familiar with, but only from a practitioner point of view, not from a researcher point of view, which is that of business model. Now, the business model is something that you may have a conflicting definitions or very varied definitions. Most of you will probably know very well the business model canvas, which is a graph that is widely used in entrepreneurship class to teach undergraduates or even aspiring entrepreneurs how to really think about and outline what is the model of the business that you are doing. But actually, it is something more. And this is the core of my, the niche where I'm digging in deeply. And one of the things that I discovered through this research is still ongoing is that each of us actually, we do have values. And these values are those that translate into and kind of manipulate our mind, and they act as logics of, for us, what makes sense and what doesn't. And because this is quite, and there's a lot of literature in this that support this, and but then there's more. So this logic is then objectified, so it becomes the expression, and this is when you have an artifact, an object that show what you have, how you see the world, and also through the different types of activity that you do. And this is how I'm able to analyze for different types of firms and how and why they do certain way, how they especially I'm specialized in analyzing very early stage ventures, including not just commercial. It can be also social ventures, for example. They pursue social goals to protect environments, to increase health awareness in China, or for other objectives. And one of the things, so as I was saying, so every day of them, they pursue different kind of values that will shape how they see the world. And then will end up in impacting what is for them valuable in terms of action, in terms of products. For example, when I say object, it may include also the product itself is an artifact. It's produced. It can be industrialized product. It can be also an artisan. There are many ways, but itself, how we decide to do the product, how we design, if it's compatible, a sustainable product, if it's compatible to a circular economy. All of this is very interesting because this is a way that will help us to understand better how entrepreneurs from the very beginning, they have a baggage with logics that they are they're shaping the way the activity they are bringing on. And if entrepreneurs, they are aware of this, because normally we just act without too much reflection on why I'm doing this, for example, for this reason, then we are able to avoid some of the recurrent, I would say, a routine that will lead eventually to the failure for to reach the goal that has been preset. Something just with to conclude is that this is with a citation of I'll call it the theory of the turkey. So the turkey, when they always think that everything, like a stock market, will go very well, and they will grow and grow infinitely, and they'll think the next day will be better, and they were fed with food, and they don't know that eventually one day will arrive with Thanksgiving, which with the day where they will be served on table. And this is just to say that when we do activity, including the one I'm researching for organizations and the businesses, they are influenced highly by the individual, of course, the baggage that could be also group in the collective thinking. So your own individual thinking is then interacting with your team that is influenced by the society, by the values of the society, a certain way, and this is something that is quite interesting to be aware of and to have more insight. Thank you very much. I see my time is
but thanks a lot for your presentation. It was interesting, and well, we are keeping the time, so it's important that you made it in time, because otherwise we would have to cut you out. So thanks a lot. I'm going to launch the poll for Shuang. So online audience, get ready. The poll is starting in a second. And let me also remind the online jury that they also need to fill their Excel sheet, because we're going to collect them very soon, and we will need to decide who is going to be the winner. And I think we can continue. The next one is Litong, right? She was the second of the second round in VR. So I invite her to come on Zoom to share slides or anyway show her face. I'm not sure how you decided to do your SLAM presentation on Zoom.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can see you very well.
I'm going to share my screen. Wait a minute. Okay, good. Okay. Hi, my name is Li Tong, a physics researcher at the Institute of Physics, Chinese Academy of Sciences. And very, very happy and excited to introduce my project of exploring novel nickelate materials for electronic devices. And could nickel replace silicon? Well, why do scientists all around the world spend lots of time on it? And why did I choose this project? The reason is we are surrounded by electronic devices. And most of modern day electronics contain silicon, the cost of which is low. But nowadays, silicon-based electronics consume a substantial and ever-increasing share of the world's energy, which increases carbon dioxide emissions and leads to climate change. Well, the good news is that some materials have been found that are more complex than silicon, but are promising for the development of electronic devices of tomorrow, and that are less electricity hungry. Well, nickel, a type of rare earth oxides, are one of them. Let's take a closer look at what exactly nickels are. Well, nickels are formed from nickel oxide with an addition of an atom belonging to so-called rare earth elements. Well, why do we pay attention to them? Because nickels are known for a special characteristic. They can suddenly switch from an insulating state to that of an electronic conductor if their temperature rises above a certain threshold. And this transition temperature varies according to the composition of the material, which we call metal insulator transition temperature. Well, but questions still remain, however. For example, despite knowing that the material is made of nickel, a rare earth element and oxide, we still don't know how those elements are bound together and how elements react under different conditions. So we all know that properties depend on structures, but which special arrangements and symmetries of the structures impact properties the most is still an open question. Well, so The aim of my research is to use first principle calculations to explore how they are arranged and how their characteristics can be influenced. And with that, let me introduce you to our method of applying force. Yes, the force that we apply on a very, very thin nickelless film. What is a film? Here, it means a very, very thin layer of material. And the tense strain is analogous to stretching. And compression strain is analogous to squeezing. Well, because the stress and expansion can be made experimentally easily by utilizing different constant lattice substrates, this means that simulation results are practical for researchers in the lab. Well, after simulating nickelless lattice constants from a compression value of 3% to an expansion and a value of 4%, we have found how the structure of nickelate films is reshaped under various amount of forces. Well, the material in the form of film doesn't just expand or shrink as evenly as we would think. Actually, it forms an unevenly arrangement called breathing mode. A larger octahedron adjacent to a smaller octahedron, just like our lengths inhaling and exhaling. Well, what about the electrons? We have found that they are arranged by force. The compressing force makes the smaller octahedron obtain more charges, which comes from neighboring oxide 2p orbitals. Yes, they exist like small offices containing more employees, but larger offices holding fewer employers. Just like many PhD students have to share a small office, but our supervisor can enjoy a larger one. Well, in simple terms, I have used an easily usable method, changing the force to manipulate the crystal structures of nickelless and adequately describe the arrangement of the orbitals and electrons. And on top of that, my work is contribution to understanding the fundamental structure and characteristics of nickelless and the stress and expansion in simulation. If we come across similarity in other systems, the existing results will be valuable. So that's the reason it's very, very useful. And I hope in this way, I can design experiments under various conditions more efficiently without waiting for successful production of materials in reality. Well, and I hope if we are successful, we hope that we can provide the world with more potential functional material options for novel electronic devices, which are more friendly to our environment. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, I'm Li Tong. Hope you could like it.
Thank you, Li Tong. Thank you for your presentation. You didn't waste your time. And I'm going to launch the poll about Li Tong, so the audience gets ready to vote you as well. There it is. The poll is launched. And we quickly move to the last slammer, last but not least. Wow, you need to convince millions and millions in this that you're the best.
Thank you. Can I just need to share my screen. I will share the camera in the screen altogether.
Li Tong, you're still sharing yours? Thank you.
Let's try. Can you see something?
I started. I think it's uploading. I still see everything.
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, can I go for it?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I started my introduction with a very controversial question: how can we achieve climate transition? Achieve a more sustainable energy system, but at an affordable cost? The answer is here. We need a better planning of renewable energy systems using renewable energy. And why is it this? The point is that renewable energy still accounts for a very small amount of the overall energy sector. As you can see in the presentation, in the thermal component, the heating that we use for our houses, our industry, the renewable energy only accounts for 10%. If you look for the transportation, even with so many electrical cars, it is only around 3%. And in the power sector, wind turbines, wind turbine, solar PV so much, it is only 27% of the overall power. So we want a clean energy system, but we want this to happen at an affordable cost. And because of the price, we still don't have this energy share, renewable energy share in higher values. But we can solve it. But to solve, we need to answer several questions. How can you reduce energy curtailment, renewable curtailment? And what are the most cost-efficient technologies to install? How can we make sure that using solar, wind coupled with batteries makes that we have a safe industry and safe energy in our households, safe in the point the lights don't shut off. We can do it by developing new planning software. So optimization, mathematical optimization can be the answer. There is a lot of research in this field, but as you can see here, there is still a research gap because energy software that analyze long-term, but with a high level of precision, they don't exist. There are models that can analyze with a very high amount of precision, but just weeks or days. But analyzing long-term is quite difficult. So that is why we, China Tree Gorges, are planning to develop a model that bridges everything. And this for power, for transportation, and for heating. All the energy parts integrated using renewable energy. For it, we developed a model that, taking away the weather data, wind speed, and radiation, can generate a theoretical electricity profile, what is the generation we can get from the renewable system, but it can also predict the water demand, the load demand, and heating demand. We just input some storage costs, some technology costs, and our model will say how much can we generate hour by hour, what is the cost of the energy transition, and the CO2 savings. Quite an impressive. And it gives us, this model fills a research gap. It is a fast and efficient algorithm, can be applied to different regions, such as small communities, cities, countries, or even isolated regions. And this can give us a very quite good impression of what is the investment we need to achieve the energy transition. So the most controversial part, how can we predict the future energy needs? For that, we need weather, seasonality, and historical demand parameters. That is, taking into account the previous consumption, taking into account the temperature, humidity, if it is rain or not, if it is workday or not, we create a model that can forecast the future needs. And then to analyze the quality of our model, we need to analyze the real value that we have compared to the forecast and see if our model makes sense. The fact is that for a real value, we notice electricity, in our case, can be forecasted with a 96% accuracy, and this for a full year. When you look to the accuracy of water demand is around the same. So it is quite impressive that we can forecast for next years the water demand, water needs of the people. When you go to the heating also even has a higher accuracy in our model, 98%. But now how do we develop the system? So to calculate the value, theoretical value of the solar power plants, we basically use equations that say when we have irradiation or irradiation values, when we have temperature, we now calculate the temperature now, we can predict how much will be our solar generation. For wind farms, even easier. We know, we forecast the wind speed, we already have an idea of the electricity generated by wind, which is translated here. Wind speed gives us the generation, the temperature and the irradiation gives the solar PV generation. But now, the controversial part is that we need a battery to make this work. Because if the wind stops spinning, we don't have electricity generation. So for that, we need batteries, large-scale batteries that can match the demand and surplus of electricity. So how it is done? Basically, we put mathematical formulas that just assure that what we generate, what our energy needs, must be balanced, taking into account the losses of the system. But we also have to put constraints on the land, because we can develop an energy system that is renewable, but if we are in a system, we will not cover all the system
all the city with wind farms and solar PV power plants. That doesn't make sense. So we put restrictions on the area that is available to develop. Then we assume that the electricity is also used to produce green hydrogen, quite famous now worldwide. So when we have too much electricity, we will not only store part of it, but part of it will be used in an electrolyzer to generate green hydrogen. And this hydrogen will be used for the heating needs. For the water, for isolated communities, what we will assume is that the sea converted to fresh water using here desalination power plants. And here we integrate everything. How do we integrate everything? By using mathematical function that says that we want to achieve this, everything needs to work, but at the minimum cost possible. We don't want a very expensive value. So we want to minimize the installation costs of all of these technologies and the operation and maintenance costs. But now let's look to a real case that shows that our model can work. We decided to study the most isolated region of the Portuguese territory, the island of Corvo, located in Azores. The island of Corvo is the most remote region, around 2,000 kilometers of Portugal mainland. It has a small population, and all energetic imports are based on fossil fuels. So the island doesn't have water, doesn't have freshwater sources. It has a diesel power plant, a perfect scenario to test our model. And when we look to the electricity consumption, we can see it is quite low. So it's good for our testing. And we decided to test the model using 75 scenarios to test different technologies to achieve what is the best mix of technologies that gives us 100% renewable energy at a lower cost. And basically what our model says is that we can achieve climate transition in this example as Corvo, but we need a high value of batteries. Batteries will be the most costly component, which also highlights that researchers need to focus more on this field, on the battery development, if we want to reduce the costs of the energy transition. But our model not only says the costs, not only says how many savings we have, it also shows hour by hour the prediction of the demand for next years. We can see here a model calculating how much can be stored, discharged, and when it will happen. So what is the conclusion of our model? The study can be relevant to development of energy plans of several regions. It fills an important research gap. It makes the bridge between industrial and academic knowledge, and it gives us what is the most cost-efficient renewable capacity mix to achieve 100% renewable energy supply. So overall, the research is a great success, and we can achieve climate transition if we have better planet strategies. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You managed to do it in 9 minutes, and I hope you convinced as many millions attendees as possible. Thanks a lot. That was the last slam. I'm going to launch the last poll, so vote for Joao, also online. The poll is launched, and how is the situation in Beijing?
So everything is really good here. As soon as I start talking, I don't hear you guys anymore, but I think that's fine, right? So you'll hear me. Yeah. So great. I'm just going to sort of spend a little bit of a time right now because we need now a little bit of a time for deliberation. So I'm going to come up to the stage and spend time. Anyway, for the people here in Beijing, I just want to say, take a look at the score sheet that you're in front of you and make a decision. Are you happy with this? Of course, when you start grading, you might not know sort of how the levels will be throughout the whole process. So you might want to take a quick look again. One thing I would like to urge you is not to hold it against people if there was some technical difficulties. I mean, like, I would be screwed if that was the case. No, so the way that we're going to be doing this is that we're going to be counting right here, and as soon as everybody here is ready with their count, I will be collecting that and putting that together, and then I will announce it to this group without people online being so. I'll basically put them on break, or we can maybe discuss what we found out. They're going to do a similar thing with the online people, and then Anna will also be collecting the audience responses, which is a little bit more simple thing, and they'll be giving it to us. And this will all go into an Excel sheet that will hopefully give us an accurate, nice, good result over a really well-deserved winner. But while we are still sort of deliberating and thinking about all of this, I just want to express to the people here tonight that came and also all the people back home and so on, just like gratitude for bearing with us tonight. I am super proud of us and our team, I have to say. I thought it was really, really cool. The fact that Anna managed to squeeze out a second VR session, I thought was so was so surprising. Yeah, I'll get a lot done because I was not able to connect to you at all. But here's the thing. We started last year in 2020 in June to experiment with VR. And the reason for that was because in February, immediately in February, we got announced that Brussels, you guys are not organizing any events in China because of COVID-19. And the first thing I thought was like VR. So VR is going to break like large. It's going to be huge. And I'm still convinced of that. I'm really surprised that we're 2 years into the pandemic and not all of you are just like we are all the time. But I guess in the view of other people, I think the reason for it is because people don't realize that how far along the technology has gone, and because they don't realize a lot of people know how to do this, which also means that like some things that should be obvious and easy aren't that yet. So that we need to just push this ahead, and that's what we did. And in June 2020, we had our first researchers night in virtual reality, and I was really, really happy with that. We got like maybe 11 people, and if you thought this was a mess, you should have seen that. We had like 10 minutes after we started, the software updated. We just got kicked out for 4 hours. I had to call everybody. I was like, could you be with me in 4 hours? I think they'll do it. Because the system was just not like ready for this yet. And I thought it was a lot better now. We've been like practicing for the last couple of days and worked quite well until it didn't. But I think it is still kind of cool. I think what Zoom doesn't really deliver is sort of this feeling of states present. And you can see some people are trying to overcome that by using some other trickery to kind of like give you a presence that they are there and so on. But it is difficult on Zoom. But in virtuality, you can do that a little bit. Some of the juries online definitely were able to go into the VR and see the personalities there in 3D. Also, I think us here, we managed to get like 5 minutes in VR, maybe. Yeah. Got myself money well spent right there. No, really, I think it's better than nothing. How many here have tried VR before? Did you try it before? First time? Yeah, okay. So also now, because I've been counting maybe 5 to 10 minutes, just take a look at this. If you just put it on, this one is all wireless and stuff, so it should be super easy. You can go into the system; it's probably still open. But I'm not just whatever. Kick her out. I really like it. We have this for a little bit. Okay, so with that said, what I want to do now is that I'm going to mute us here, move over the camera. We can take a look at what these guys found out, and we can discuss it really quickly to see if there's a consensus. I have defined a lack of consensus being like less than 5% difference between the top two. If there's a consensus, there's no need to deliberate. I think the time is already over, like we're up to 7. If some of you need to run, I really understand that. So for those of you that are going to join us for a dinner later, bear with us for like a couple of minutes so we can announce the winner and so on. That's going to be happening really, really soon. So with that said, I'm going to mute myself. I will be, yeah.
So just jumping 1 second online, I'm almost done with the counting of online jury and online voters. Just need a couple of few minutes. And yeah, to let them deliberate as well in Beijing, but please stay with us because that's the best moment of the slam, right? We will get to know who is the 2021 winner. So just be patient. We'll try to be as fast as possible. Okay, I'm back in. The online counting, like summing up of all the scores has been done. We just need to wait for Beijing also to deliberate and to sum up all the scores. I think we heard some and we saw some nice slammers today. And I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I still think it was pretty cool to try an experiment with virtual reality, and also that with this like online format, we really managed to involve members of the jury that have been involved in Science Slam Barcelona, that have won the slam before, and because they became so popular, they are now all in London or like everywhere else in the world, just making fun. But thanks a lot to our members of the online jury for connecting as well in the middle of the night. I hope that the slam so far met your expectations, and I guess that will also depend if the winner that you voted is going to be the actual winner of this edition. But we will find out in a few minutes. And well, I don't know, maybe we will ask feedback also from the attendees after the end of the event to see if they liked to being exposed to the VR reality, even not having the Googles. And actually, let me take advantage while we wait for to ask maybe some of our members of the jury who didn't have the VR Googles. How was it from Zoom? Was it enjoyable, or was it too digital and too far away to be able to really get involved in what was going on? If someone wants to just jump in.
I enjoyed it, although I'm sitting seas apart, but being able to attend this from Beijing, I loved it. I mean, Science Slam is just awesome, and I'm so glad that you guys put it through, even though the world is going through pandemic. But thanks to Zoom or online platform, I'm just glad that I could attend it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I feel your excitement. So it's really good to have you here. Really, thanks for joining. And someone else who wants to comment on this format as well, maybe.
Can I?
Of course, please.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody, the juries. I'm very happy. Actually, I participated in this kind of Science Slam since many years ago, but as part of audiences, and really hope one day that I could be a slammer and to make science human to the general public. And I still remember as well, 3 or 4 years ago, the Videocast, the one just talk about what they think before me, is the winner, I remember, about biology. And I talked to him, and he encouraged me to participate in this Science Slam. And I really thank you to Anna and Howard to organize this kind of event for everybody who loves science, and really enjoy events, and hope to see much more better slammers than at least me, and could see everybody next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Litong. Anyway, the jury hasn't deliberated yet, so you can't say better than me. We will have to wait for that. And thanks for joining. And please spread the voice, because it's also fun that like one of our slammers, one other slammer of this year, Joao, used to be at the university and used to be taught by Chong, who was our last edition's winner. And he was also encouraged by his then professor to join the next edition. Isn't it true, Joao? Yeah, sorry. I
just couldn't hear the sound. Yeah, the Professor Chong is quite well known in Shanghai Jiaotong University because he's a very good lecturer. Professor Chong taught me a class in power engineering of new energy systems. And everyone knows him in the college because I have to say, not because he's here, but because I really believe he's our best lecturer, best professor. So Professor Chong, when he got the award, it was not a surprise for us because his class must be one of the few that has 100% attendance every week. So then Professor Chong invited me, and I accepted this challenge. Quite interesting to see and quite innovative.
Yeah, and I can say that Joao has been honest. He doesn't just want to please his professor because he's not his professor anymore, and he already casted his vote. So if it was time for bribing, then he had to do it before. Now it's too late. And anyone?
2 years late, at least.
Yes, and I see things are moving in Beijing, but we still waiting. They're still putting all this course together. Anyone else wants to jump in and say something about this format?
I can comment as a member of the panel. It was my first time to participate, so I cannot compare with the previous editions, but I have to say excellent job from Albert and from Anna. Excellent presentations as well. So I really enjoyed being here and being part of the panel for evaluation. Many thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah, for joining. Sarah is joining from Porto, I think, from Portugal anyway. And yes, so it's very cool to have you here. I'm glad it was your first time, and maybe we'll see you again for the next editions. I can say which format we will have. It's also a lot of fun, I must say, to have physical meetings. Normally the Science Slam would be in an informal setting, maybe even just a bar with a big stage, and all the participants would just attend and maybe just gather around small tables, and of course there would be a lot of networking, especially while with some of this course. The VR is a way to go around the impossibility of having a networking moment on Zoom meetings. But yeah, it's hard to set it up, as you saw, and I don't know, maybe we will try with our other events. It's definitely much easier to do it in China.
Anna.
Oh yeah, here you are, Halder.
Do you have any results? On your side, can you send to me, or can you share with me so I can put it into my document, or how is it going?
Yeah, I sent to you all the results of the online jury and also of the online audience. I sent you on WeChat.
On WeChat, yep. Okay, and here we are. Thank you very much. That's right. And I'm gonna add this together.
While we wait, I have a small question, because I know I went the first and we're having some technical problems. Maybe not like the VR part, but the other part, could all the members hear it? Because it was a little bit stressful at the very beginning. I hope everybody could hear and see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you are the one who had to go first, and especially the VR part, maybe it was the less easy situation to be.
The guinea pig.
But I think everybody knows that was a trial for everybody, and the opportunity to give a short introduction. Then the presentation itself was on Zoom, and it was totally fine. The audio was okay, the video quality was okay. We couldn't notice that you were stressed, and a little bit of is okay during this kind of competitions. And so yes, I think the proposed SDERM presentation was the one on Zoom, so we saved it for everybody, and that's important. Yeah, I'm sorry, Alvaro.
No. I mean, I was just, because we tried this thing with the camera, and I was a little bit nervous. I hope everybody could see, like the noise was okay. So I mean, I'm really glad. Thanks, Jonas, for the thumbs up. Good. And Odette also said thanks a lot. No, yes, I don't know, like the very first one. I mean, the VR looks amazing, and when you go there, like it's quite, it's quite engaging. The thing is that it was the first time and a little bit confusing. The internet was not helping me in that regard. I apologize for it. But I think that we did what we could, and it was quite nice. And thanks also for everyone. Like there was really good presentations by everyone involved. So that's basically it.
Yeah, thanks also for your patience. I mean, doing a presentation in VR can have a lot of challenges. Yeah, the internet, and you need to get used to the device. Still, it's a lot of fun. We could even for the audience who wasn't in VR, shake our hands. So you would just move your arm and then you feel the device vibrating. And then you move around. There's we didn't use it today, but there's also the option of having 3D voice, meaning that it's not like in a webinar that when someone speaks, everybody hears him or her with the same audio level, with the same sound level. But 3D voice means that, like, if I'm far away, you hear me very low, maybe you cannot even hear me, and so that allows for networking. We had the first VR event for a small researchers night last year, and I think, again, for those who decided to join, it was fun, but yes, it's not super easy to put together, and especially in China, there are also some extra limitations because of the firework, and yeah, just some softwares don't work. So that's an extra part of the fun. We're just waiting for the count. Anyone wants to say anything? Feel welcome. I feel like I'm boring you a little bit with all my talking. We're all waiting to know who the winner will be.
I just say something, and it's going to make me sound really, really old. But even though we have these glitches in VR, I remember when PowerPoint first came out and we started using PowerPoint for presentations at conferences, it was exactly the same. It was always kind of a concern about whether or not pictures and figures would appear. So I'm just wondering, because it was very quick between, maybe it was like 2 years between the sort of when PowerPoint was being used, sort of a few talks were using it, and then it was being used very regularly. I wonder if there's going to be something similar with VR. In terms of these meetings, but because it was very, very similar, exactly the same kind of little glitches.
Yeah, I hope so. It's I mean, I guess that is the direction, and yeah, I don't see why it shouldn't get more widespread. So we might want like meetings.
When I was playing with it this morning, I had colleagues knocking on my door all morning. Wow, this is so cool.
It was so cool. That's so cool. I just try it. Yeah, actually, last year, during Christmas, the actress China also held a kind of for researchers to get together in VR, and we did have very, very good experience and a very good get up. So maybe next time, using VR again, I think would be a better choice. Yeah, really hope to see everybody on VR. It's so fantastic, you know.
Litong, you also joined our researchers night last year, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first event we organized in VR at all. Yeah, it was. That was also cool. It was a researchers night, so pretty much a networking event. So VR was the only way we found to give the opportunity of people to network, to create small groups and have discussion in small groups while being in a pandemic. So yeah, there were different people from China, someone else connected from Europe, and we were discussing about mobility. That was since mobility wasn't allowed anymore. And I think a question that we also discussed then was is the future of mobility in VR. So the topic is recurrent, and yes, I'm very happy that we make this other experiment. And actually, you need to know that we forced the slammers to make this first presentation in VR. But I was a bit worried that it would be too much of a headache for you guys. I'm sure it was a headache. It was not easy, but I felt there was a lot of excitement and an interest in trying. So that is, I hope that's real and that you're happy with that despite the difficulties.
This is actually something I also would like to add to all your great talks. I was really impressed how cool you all stayed despite all the technical struggles. So really a compliment to all of you, how confident you still were afterward. And maybe also to you, Anna, also just another compliment. It's really important there are these brave people to use these platforms. Actually, we are also just exploring in our institute VR, and I'm so happy to really also see other people now doing it, because somebody needs to be this brave one at the beginning so that other people can jump on the train. So it's really great.
Thank you. I think we, yeah, you have to be brave. As Haldo was sharing before, also the last event, that time we were even like super unlucky because it was the people running the software themselves that decided to update it and to expire the previous software while we just started our event and without previous notice. So it was really a nightmare. But yeah, we decided that it would be cool to give it another try. And yes, I think also maybe in Barcelona you can rely on different softwares and maybe a wider choice of equipment. So I'm glad to hear that you're also thinking of considering it. Yeah, if you organize a VR event, please invite us. We will be happy to
yeah,
join.
Definitely. Actually, I planned already to contact you afterwards to exchange a little bit.
Possible.
I can totally imagine what the pressure would be on the slammers right now. My hands are sweating actually for I don't know, for whatever reason. I'm feeling the pressure, like who is going to win, who is going to win. I'm like really I was on the same floor like a few years ago. And I would like to share this tiny story like from back. So it was 2013 when I just moved to China, and in September. And I was in Zhongguancun campus, basically where the Chinese Academy of Sciences campus at that time was. So I just happened to be in Wudaokou, and I went to this cafe in Beijing, and there was some event going on. Only a year later, when I participated in it, that I realized, oh, that was the event going on that cafe that day, basically about Science Slam competition, and see how it has changed from in-person presentation in a coffee shop to bringing everybody together here in this platform. Is so amazing over the years how it has changed.
Because you were the winner, I remember. You were the winner that year.
Yeah, that was 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, many years ago. And you also the host of the Science Slam 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah, I've been participating in all these events. I'm like every year, and I'm not sure what the prize is this year, but at my time we were sponsored to travel to Europe and visit Brussels office of funding, European funding. It was pretty good. Yeah.
So which city, which country did you go? And
so
supported by Science Slam?
Yeah, they arranged a scientific organization in Brussels first for us. There was scientific presentation. Yeah, scientific presentation. RC heads offices in Brussels again, and then we had the option to choose a lab of our choice anywhere in Europe. So they sponsored our trip to go to. I chose to go to Germany in Münster in Max Planck Institute. So it was quite my first Euro trip ever was sponsored by EURAXESS. It was fun.
Yeah. I remember that I watched your presentation many years ago. Yeah, I still remember you did a presentation about biology, and you always, it looks like the best one. So I told you, oh, you would be the champion. you didn't believe me. Yeah, so it's really excited to see someone. I haven't seen you for many years. Okay.
So are we back online? Do you guys hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, Anna, we have, after a long deliberation, after taking into account both the online jury of 8 jurors and the offline jury of 8 jurors as well, and after discussing the results, after taking into account the audience appreciation score as well, which is based on the polling on Zoom, we got a winner. And let me see. Should we make it like a, should we put like a drum roll? It's Alvaro.
Where is Alvaro?
Alvaro Castells. So let's go in front of the camera again. So from Beijing here, we just want to wish Alvaro really congratulations for an amazing victory. The prize is a brand new iPad Pro, so or equivalent, actually, available to him to decide this. But we will be in touch in the next couple of days to discuss this. And nobody's going home empty-handed, though. We will be sending everybody a small hongbao that participated. That is going to be also really very nice. Normally, when people come, we'll give them like a gift card. I think it's kind of weird to give a gift card for people that are remotely. I'll just send them home. I think that's nicer. And I think everybody here was super good. And I have to say, it was super close. And not only between the first and the second, but like also the third and the fourth. You know, like everybody were really, really nice tonight. What I'm going to suggest now, we're like running a little bit late. We were supposed to end at 7. I'm going to suggest that if Anna wants to add a couple of words, and also I want to see if the victorious Science Slammer of 2021 would like to say a couple of words.
Yes. Hey, Alder, yeah, thanks for finally announcing the winner. I think he was very stressed because of the technical issues. He was the first, so he couldn't really go on VR very well. And then, you know, that affected his presentation. But I was telling him he did fine, and he really did very well. So I think his connection dropped exactly when you mentioned his name. And so I sent him a WeChat message, and I think he's trying to reconnect because he was really waiting for this announcement, and I'm not sure he's with us anymore. Alvaro, are you with us? Look, he's not with us. This is, can you hear me? Oh, you're sending a message. Okay, let me see. I'm going to make you a co-host just in case you're connected and you cannot talk. Alvaro, you should be able now if you're with us. Yeah, he's connecting. Yeah, thank you. I see he's connecting to his audio. Alvaro, are you with us? Yes.
Sorry. I'm very sorry. It was the worst possible moment. The connection has failed for 4 hours, and just when Haldor said the winner is, it broke. Thanks, Anna, for saving me from a heart attack. I hope that I don't know now if they are hearing me or not. Thanks, Anna, for having me off a heart attack, not sending to me through WeChat. Sorry to everybody by the interruption. I know it has been like the worst possible moment to fall down. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. I hope that thanks a lot, really. I hope that you liked it. And yeah, as Anna said, I was really nervous because the very first time in VR, and then I was hoping like VR, and then I would go and just go from one side to the other. I need to thank my camera, another associate professor here in the lab, who has helped me a lot with the camera work. And thanks to everybody, and thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Congratulations, Alvaro. You really did good. And I think we're going to close it here. It was a little bit longer than expected, but thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Jury, yeah, Albert.
Anna, does he know that he won? This is our question.
Yeah, now he knows. Yeah.
Oh, he knows. Okay. We were like,
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I just lost the connection in the worst possible moment. I'm really sorry.
All right. So I think from everybody here, we were so happy to watch you guys tonight. It was really, really great. Thank you so much, Anna, for taking care of all the online, like this side of that. I know that was not any less of a hassle than doing this site here. It was a huge endeavor. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Alvaro once again. Thank you so much to all of the other science slammers that are actually super, super great, I have to say. And I'm just wondering, can you like use you guys and do something to promote you, because a lot of this is amazing and you guys are great science communicators, really. So we'll figure that out. I'm sure we can do. Maybe you guys can go to the Falling Walls and win that stuff, you know, or some of the other ones. I know that there's a 3-minute thesis from the French embassy. We have like a lot of other stuff going here for science communication, and everybody's still going to get like our hongbao. So I think we can stay in touch with that. And then I also want to thank all of the juries, all of them that come here tonight with us, and also all the online juries. I really, I'm sorry that I was not able to like focus on some of you, because I was like collecting some of my favorite people here tonight and I couldn't really interact with you at all. We got like, for example, Vegas Malik, who is in New York right now. He won it in 2016. We got Xiao Tong, who's in London, and she won it in 2016, Vegas in 15. We got Chong also, who actually been like won it in 2018 and been getting us like science slammer ever since, and we're really happy with him. Oh, I also want to say, because I met Odette today in virtual reality, it was the first time she's come there. She's a professor at Ningbo that has been to every single science slam from the beginning, so 6 of them since 2013. Obviously, she was not going to come from Ningbo this year, but we managed to squeeze her into VR, so that was cool, and I liked it. I thought it was like a good omen that we had something like that there. Again, thanks to the winner, and we maybe can call it good here. What do you think, Anna?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and we have been talking a lot actually during this time you were counting. So yeah, I think it was great. Thanks a lot. Thanks to the slammers, the jury, and also the attendees. It was a great experiment, and we'll have other ones. So stay connected.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. Sorry again for the last like broke in the communication. Thanks a lot.
Sorry, that they added a little bit of spiciness.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there we are. So